Stretcher number 8. I'm your host, Jesse Sawyer, nationally recognized inclusive fitness trainer, Silver Sneaker Flex instructor. You can find out more about me by visiting my website at www.jessesawyer.com. Now, hopefully this camera angle is not a little tilted. It looks a little tilted from here. However, you know, like we always do in any of these videos, any mistakes that occur, they are legitimate mistakes, as this is not a cut and paste video. This is directly to you, and there is no making up for the mistake that is made. So if it is a little tilted, I do apologize. Hopefully you enjoy this video. It is the Stretcher 8, and we will be focusing on taking those shoulders up a notch, again, up a level, as we add a mid and lower trap stretch into the routine for those shoulders today as well. So if you've been taking the shoulder series with me, we've been going through shoulder exercises to help remove discomfort, tension, any type of tone that you might have, any type of injury or susceptibility to injury, arthritis, even some pain, trying to take away some of that discomfort again in the cervical region of the neck and the shoulder region, as we have lots of overuse and our shoulders get bound from being in the seated position throughout our journey of life. Those back muscles get overstretched at times, and those then anterior muscles become even tightened and lose range of motion. So we want to really try to resolve that, or try to systematically change those muscular skeletal changes. And it doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by just taking this shoulder stretch class with me once a week. It's you being cognizant of that there's been changes that have occurred, and then you just every day adding some stretches to improve that posture, those mechanics, and also taking away some of that tension, bounding and rolling of those shoulders, and the overstretching of those back muscles, trying to strengthen up those back muscles, as well of taking away the shortening of those shoulder muscles in the anterior aspect and lengthening them so that you can do things in a more productive manner. But without further ado, we have to get started with the stretcher. That's enough of the intro. This is the 8th edition. And again, I'm your host, and without further ado, you know who's back. The style and profile, wheel, deal, shake, bake, groove, black pant wearing, white shoe rocking, high flying, limousine riding, Apple Watch wearing, Silver Sneaker Flex instructor, bringing you this Stretcher 8. Now, before we get started, there are a few things that I need to go over. If you have any lightheadedness, pain, dizziness, discomfort, or fatigue, hit the pause button, come back a little bit later. You're going to be mirroring me through all these exercises. Next thing is the virtual liability. There's 5 different things. One is the virtual liability. You should always consult with your physician before engaging in any physical activity program. By participating in this online exercise with me, you assume all dangerous, hazards, risks of such participation. Exercises demonstrated by the instructor in this online class can be demanding. If unable to safely perform these exercises, please modify them or choose a different set of exercises. Number 2, I can't see you, I can't hear you. So again, pay attention to your form, pay attention to your mechanics. If you are in that seat, it can be done in the standing position. I advise you to do this more in the seated position. However, you can do all this in the standing position, is that you are going to be sitting up in the edge of that chair. You're going to anchor those feet, same in the standing, toes over knees, knees over hips, hips over shoulders, chest out, shoulders up, back and down, tuck the belly, tuck the tailbone, ears over shoulders, lengthen and elongate that spine, and you want the head nice and high. You don't want the tilted head where you're putting the head below the heart. You want to kind of up, and then you want to rest those shoulders, relax those shoulders, elbows come into the rib cage, and you kind of just rest those arms down to the side and prepare yourself to do these shoulder stretches with me to, again, improve that musculoskeletal biomechanics that we all could use a little tweak here and there with the discomfort that sometimes we have. The other thing you need to do is you want to just kind of improve each and every week that you go through these exercises with me, and remove the tensions, remove the toxins in not only your environment, but just the tensions and the toxins that are weighing your shoulders down, and the stress that you might be having right now. Just try to remove it, try to clear your head, try to clear the air, and get to that number 3 where you kind of just breathe. You're just kind of inhaling and exhaling. And you want to be able to do that throughout these motions. So find a quiet area, find an area where you're comfortable, find an area where you can watch this video and that you can perform these exercises without anybody creeping over your shoulder saying, hey, you're doing it wrong, you're not doing it right. Again, the goal is just to improve each and every week. And then you get to the 4, the rate of perceived exertion is a 1 through 3 scale. We're not at that 10 because it's not going to be heavily exerted. 1, relaxed, confident, ready to go. 2, you kind of want more. You're able to shift your weight to the right, shift your weight to the left. You're finding that center of gravity. You're following all those mechanics. You're mirroring me appropriately. And the heart rate might be going up, but it's not too high. Blood pressure's not dropping. You don't have any pain, discomfort, lightheadedness, fatigue, any nauseated type feelings. If you get to that 3, it means you're overshifting. You're standing, you're passing out, your heart rate's up, your blood pressure's up, you're breathing too much. We don't want any of that. We want you right at that 2 or even that 1 where you stay relaxed and you're confident throughout. And then you get to that 5 where we want to make sure we have the hydration. I already have my hydration here. And if you need the hydration throughout, grab that hydration. If not, pay attention to the rate of perceived exertion. And if not that, then pay attention to the mechanics and your musculoskeletal. So you're gonna really see above my waist today. You're probably not gonna see my feet, but my feet are anchored. My belly is tucked, my tailbone's tucked. I am up on the edge of this bench and I'm just letting my hands drop down to the side, just relaxing those shoulders as I wiggle back and forth. No shimmy, shimmy, shake today. And I'm just gonna start with a shrug. So this is just a general shrug to work your upper traps. And although it is hitting the cervical aspect of your neck as well, and it's really focusing even on that C1 where we get that atlas where it really holds your neck in place and allows it to stay up and down. Just holding the shoulder and the head in place. That's what the traps work on doing, and that's what the atlas of the C1 in your cervical spine does as well. So again, this is bilateral. We did do stuff unilateral when we first started, stretcher 1, stretcher 2, maybe stretcher 3 or 4. But now we're really into more of the bilateral exercises. So I'm just gonna keep coming up. I'm gonna do 2 more of those. There you go. And rest them all the way down. Now I'm gonna take them into a pendulum. I'm just gonna circle those arms out. And we wanna just go through these different exercises, not expediently, however we want to move through them. So if you are in a wheelchair at home, if you're in a lazy boy, if you have something, an armrest, you're gonna have to take your arms out a little farther. You're gonna put a little more pressure on the trap and in those shoulders. If you can remove yourself from any of those devices that prevent you from having sublux of the shoulder, just being able to drop it down and be in a good natural, neutral postural position, and you want to do that, you can sit on the edge of the chair a little bit better. Keep your arms closer to you, much better than having to take them all the way out here where you put a little more pressure and a little more strain on those shoulders. And then we want to reverse them. Again, this is a pendulum, and you're just really just taking your hands through sand or through water. You're imagining that you have some form of resistance as you do this exercise. And again, it is just to relax those shoulders, breathe through it, and take some of the discomfort and pressure off, and strengthen that rotator as well, and work on the posture and the mechanics of the back as well. Strengthen that, take away the tightness of the shoulder, and if we get down in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, we're going to take those shoulders up, we're going to take them back with those elbows, and then down. So we're just going to kind of roll up, back, and down. So when you do this, you're hitting the trap right here as you take the shrug, and you're rolling back, so you start hitting that mid trap, and then you're retracting those shoulder blades. So then you start getting more of that mid-lower trap region. You also get the rhomboid muscles and your scapula. So it's kind of up, back, and down. Chest is out, up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. And we'll do that 2 more times. That's 1. Up, back, and down. And now the next one is we're going to reverse that order. We're going to go back with those elbows. So you're taking the elbows back, and then you're going up with your shoulders, and then you're rolling forward. So a little more complicated. Up, a little more coordination has to be done in this one. Elbow back, so you pretend you're elbowing somebody. Shoulders come up and then roll forward. So as you can see, I am exaggerating this movement just a little bit so that you can see this on screen, the exaggeration of it. Although it would be a more of a flow like this than the exaggeration aspect of that. That's a little exaggerated, so again, it's more of a normal flow. It's back, up, and then around to the front. Back, up, and around to the front. Nice and easy, nice and smooth. You might feel some of the shoulders, you might feel the back, as we're just, again, trying to strengthen up that back and loosen up and elongate those anterior muscles through the motion. And then let's do 2 more. 1 and 2, and shimmy, shimmy, shake them out. There you go. Feeling good, looking good. Arms come up to the side, right like this, like you're almost holding something. So bring them in into almost that palm stretch, if you're taking any palm stretches with me, and now you're gonna open up. So now you're gonna externally rotate. Some of us call this externally rotation. Some would say this is retraction. Some would say this is abduction with an A and a B. But again, you're pushing that chest out, you're opening up that diaphragm, and you are squeezing. Now, not only are you squeezing that lower back because your arms are lower, that's the angle, it changes the angle where you're getting the squeeze, but you're getting that spina rectus as well. So you're getting just that lower part of the back, you're getting your scapula, you're getting some rotator cuff as well with the external rotation, the abduction, and the retraction. And you're just kind of pulling back, opening up, and again, rotator cuffs as well. So I know earlier today I was working out earlier this morning, and I know that I was doing some chest presses, and I know I tweaked my shoulders, so this is going to feel really good, not only just for my back, but for my shoulder region as well, as that can occur as well. You know, we're just trying to do a little much sometimes, or we're having a little bit more stress in our daily lives. Next thing you know, we're doing something that normally we could do on a daily basis, and we get a strain. It's part of the aging process, it's part of the stress process, and again, this is a reason why we do these exercises, and these exercises are brought to you. Let's do 2 more. Let's do 1 more. Let's bring them back in, and now I'm going to float them up like here. There you go. Symmetrical. You want them equal. You want that right side and that left side trying to be equal, and then I'm just going to kick them back now. And might not be as equal. Again, I think my screen on my camera is a little crooked today, and you're going to get the crooked version of me. So hopefully it makes me look like I'm symmetrical with my shoulders. And I know they're not at all times. We're just pulling back. So again, we're abduction, we're retracting, we're externally rotating. We internally rotate here for a moment, and then we externally rotate and pull back. So as you pull back, you're expanding the diaphragm, you're taking your anterior muscles here as well, and you're lengthening them, and you're squeezing the shoulder blades together. So if those back muscles are overstretched, which typically they are, you're gonna try to really strengthen them up with this isometric type of hold. So you're gonna hold it there, you're squeezing it there, and then you're rotating forward, and then you're pulling back, and you're stretching as well the anterior muscles, so it gives you a little bit greater range of motion. Again, that's the goal. Better range of motion, improved posture, improved mechanics, and a stronger back region so that it holds you up, so you don't look like going creepy old dudes walking around with that big hump in your back that looks like it needs to be tackled at all times. Like, we don't want to be tackling you and putting popsicle sticks in your back to hold you up straight as you get older. Nor do we want you to be using ambulatory devices either. So pull back 1 more time, rest them all the way down, shimmy, shimmy, shake them. If you need hydration, there it is, grab it, pay attention to the rate of perceived exertion, and keep on flowing with me as I bring my hands in again together. I flip them up, I bring them up, and now I'm going to just drop them down like a scarecrow and pop up, and I'm bringing them down. So the down motion is really where we're focusing on now. You're going to feel more on the lateral side and on that anterior side of that shoulder right through here. You might feel in the neck, so you want to relax that neck. And I'm kind of just flowing them up freely, and then I'm dropping them down. So as we do this, it becomes more of an abduction. Although you retract for a moment, you're really trying to protract and drop those palms in and squeeze up through this region, which would again be the lateral part of the shoulder and the anterior part of the shoulder, where we're really just trying to strengthen this region. Now, if it's tight because you have range of motion difficulties or you have, let's say, rotator cuff injuries, you're going to feel this as you go through this motion. And it's going to feel tight, it's going to feel discomforting, and it's going to start burning. It's going to feel like a chalky burn, like a tendinitis. And that's what I'm feeling right now. And it's time under tension as well as you do this. So let's do 2 more. There's 1, and there's 2, and drop them down. Shimmy, shimmy, shake. Hydration if you need it. Pay attention to that rate of perceived exertion as we go to the next stretch, which is going to be that postural shoulder stretch now. So I'm going to take that left hand, I'm going to just reach over one-handed. I'm going to grab that right hand, and I'm going to pull that left shoulder over. So again, we're walking through all the exercises that we've done in the past. Nice good stretch, you're pulling it through. You're going to feel that all the way through this whole region. You might even feel it in the anterior part as well. And then I'm going to drop that hand down. I'm going to take that right, I'm going to tap that left shoulder, grab and pull through and get a nice good stretch. There you go. Nice and upright still. Nice soft breath. We'll do that to both sides yet one more time. As we drop it down, I take that left hand, grab the right shoulder, take that right hand and pull through. And nice stretch. In that anterior part of the delt, and then I'm getting really that postural side of the shoulder on a stretch. Staying in that upright position, again, static stretches typically hold for about 20 seconds. If they're just doing them active stretches, you're gonna look more like what I'm doing right now, going through the active motion. However, a static stretch is best for improved range of motion, musculoskeletal deficiencies, and even arthritic conditions as well. But arthritic conditions can be more active as well because they help get the blood flowing. And rest it all the way down. Awesome job. You're going to shake them off. And now we're going to go to that double postural. So we're going to take that left hand to the right shoulder, right hand to left shoulder, and then we're just going to bring them up and then drop down, just like that. So you're creating a cross, and then you just, or an X should I say, and then you're coming up. So as you can see, my eyeballs, you're not actually seeing my eyeballs. I can't get my hands up any higher than they are. And I'm trying to keep symmetry with them as well. So if you're watching me, I can see that my arms are not symmetrical as I go up through. So I'm really trying to create symmetry. And as they get more stretched out, I can actually see that screen. So this time as I come on up, which will be the 4th time, as I try to really lift my elbows up, I'm going to come up and I'm going to lift up and over and round them out and then come back and do the exact same thing. So that left hand's gonna cross, grab that right shoulder, that right hand's gonna cross and grab that left shoulder, and I'm gonna come up and try to really fix those shoulders so that they come through and up and over. And I'm gonna do that one more time as I feel that. So left to right, right to left, lift up, try to get that other shoulder up, keep them symmetrical as they come up through. And all the way over, and then I'm going to bring this left hand right all the way up to the back of my head, and that right hand is going to drop right down here on my right thigh, and then I'm going to do that T-spine rotation. And I'm just following my shoulder as I rotate that thoracic spine. That's why it's called a T-spine rotation. And I'm coming forward. And I can feel my scapula retract because I'm trying to take the elbow and I'm pushing the elbow back, but I'm also following that elbow, and my torso staying here is just a T-spine twisting and following through. And I come back to that front and I rest that side down and I shake it off, and then I float that right hand up behind my head, left hand right here, and the T-spine, same thing, other side. There you go. And a nice stretch. So on my right side, what you're seeing is you're seeing me be able to get a little further with it. That means I probably don't have some injury as I do on my left side. I probably have some, herniated disc or some back discomfort, maybe some arthritis, which I know I have that, based upon scans I've had on my back. And that could just be from a seated position. That could be done, it could be because you've overloaded your shoulders with book bags, with purses. You could have stenosis as well, narrowing of the spine from being in a seated position or from overuse over time. But again, the real goal is in that T-spine is to really open up that spine, stretch out the diaphragm in the chest cavity, lengthen the anterior muscle that's become shortened from rolling those shoulders, and then really strengthen up the back muscles as you pull back and strengthen and hold in that position. And we want to go to that last exercise I said, because we will come to the stretcher shoulders 9 where we'll repeat these exercises again. And if you like one more than the other, again, please feel free to do that stretch a few more times, especially that T-stretch. However, I do want to go to that mid and upper trap stretch. It's going to be probably more, it might even hit part of that lower stretch. So I want you to take those hands out or that lower trap, and I'm just going to try to roll forward. So if I straddle this chair and I put my arms out like this, I'm just really just trying to squeeze those elbows together and keep my head nice and upright. And I'm really getting the tension right through here as I roll my hands forward and really reach out towards that wall in front of me, but really just try to drive those elbows and angle those elbows in with a nice squeeze and stretch of the mid trap and the lower trap, not as much as the upper trap. And I'll do that again from the front. Reach out towards you. As you saw, I kind of just reached out, and then I squeeze, and I try to stay upright. And I breathe, and I breathe. And if I need that hydration, I grab that hydration and I circle, and then I reach out and I try to touch you through the screen, which is impossible, but nothing's impossible. And you can change some musculoskeletal changes, but you can't do it being sedentary, and you can't do it by just systematically doing it one time a week. You have to make sure that you're getting these stretches in on a daily basis and working on trying to change your biomechanics, your mechanics, your posture, and the functional capability that you can do effectively, efficiently, each and every time that you take a class with me. Again, I hope you enjoyed this stretcher number 8. We'll be back with number 9 at some point in time. Have a great day. From that mirror to that door, from that mirror to that screen. Go in peace, my friends, and may that light always be a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. Peace. And go visit my website, www.jessesawyer.com. Peace.